Okay, so today I'm going to share with you the number one secret to becoming really successful, not just on the short term, but for the rest of your life. So let's go. I'll take you on a walk today. We're here in San Francisco. We arrived yesterday afternoon, and from Amsterdam, which is like a 10-hour flight or 11-hour flight, and it's a 9-hour time difference. So woke up this morning around 2 or 3 a.m. and it's interesting. I've been traveling to the U.S. for 20 years now. The first time was in 2006, and that was the first time I went to the U.S. and it was such a mind-blowing experience, because what I really appreciate about the U.S. is in the U.S. people, not all people obviously, but as a whole, overall I would say more free thinkers, especially, yeah, let's go that way, or not? Is that, yeah? Okay. Especially bigger thinkers, compared, for example, to the Netherlands. I'm from the Netherlands, and I appreciate and enjoy the Netherlands. I'm happy to live there, like part-time, so we live part-time. Over the, yeah.
Oh, you want to cross to the other side?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is the way. Yeah.
This way?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, yeah, we live 50% of our time in the Netherlands and 50% of our time in the US, and I think that's a cool combination between both cultures. The Netherlands, what's cool about the Netherlands, and excuse the background noise, we're walking underneath a bridge right now. What's cool about the Netherlands is we have a really cool system whenever you're not successful. So if you're kind of struggling in life and you don't make the most amount of money, or maybe you don't have the best health, we really have a cool and a great backup system. I think the US can learn from us, but I think what we can learn from the US is the bigger thinking and the more creative thinking and stuff like that. And anyway, arrived yesterday afternoon, woke up around 3 a.m. and you might be thinking like, wow, you must be tired. Actually, I'm not, because I got a cool 8-hour sleep in. So one of the life hacks, be careful, Danny. One of my life hacks for traveling, and again, I've been traveling for 20 years to the US. Oh, we have to go to the opposite, to the other side, I think, because this is for bikes. Or no? I think so. Yeah, this is for bikes. Okay. Oh, we have to go back. Okay. That's okay. Sorry. So yeah, I've been traveling for 20 years to the US, and in the first 2 years, like, the jet lags, they were killing me. It was horrendous. People say you gotta suffer your way through the first 1, 2, 3 days.
No way. What tipped you off?
And you gotta suffer your way through the first couple of days and just push through the jet lag, and I could never really do it. It was tough because you go to bed around 10 p.m. You're already like toast around 2 or 3 p.m. because it's a 9-hour time difference, and I could never really do it. And you might be thinking, why am I sharing this? Well, there's some wisdom to this, which I will share in a minute, and it's also the big theme of this recording. So for the first couple of years, I was just struggling. It was really tough, really hard. It took me like a week to recover from jet lag. I couldn't really enjoy going to the US. And then I did something that I've never heard anybody do, and still to this day, I haven't heard anybody doing this. And it's actually, whenever you're traveling, don't adjust too much to the time zone. I think we have to go that way, and then like this. Don't adjust too much to the time zone. Stay in your time zone where you're from. So for example, if I'm from Amsterdam and I'm going to LA, it's a 9-hour time difference. I think we have to go this way. It's a 9-hour time difference. if I arrive in LA around noon, which we did yesterday, I actually go to bed around 5 p.m., which is 2 a.m. in the Netherlands. And which is already quite late. I'm just wondering how the video will turn out with this. What do you think, Danny? Danny, is dit te doen? We'll see. This might be the worst video ever, but you know, we'll see. Yeah. So it's already 2 a.m. if I arrive here, if I go to bed around 5 p.m. here. But because I go to bed around 5 p.m., I'm actually able to pull in like 8 hours of sleep. If I push it till, for example, 10 p.m., 10 p.m. is 7 a.m. in the Netherlands, I'll be, first of all, the hours of pushing it till 10 p.m. is like very, very hard. And then I'll get to bed around 10 p.m., which is again 7 a.m. in the Netherlands. And I'll probably wake up around 2 or 3 hours later because my system hasn't adjusted yet. But if I go to bed around 5 p.m., which is a little bit weird, I get a good 8 or 9 hours sleep in, and it's 2 a.m. in the morning, but you're fresh, you had 8 or 9 hours sleep. And this is an idea that I installed like 18 years ago, and I think I've been to the US over, I would say hundreds of times, but at least 100 times. And I never suffer from jet lag again because I go to bed around 5 p.m., which is weird, but it's a game changer. It really, really helped me out a lot, and I don't suffer from jet lag. And you might be thinking, is this the key to success? Is this the key to long-term success? To not suffer from jet lag? Of course not. I mean, it's a cool key to success, but not the key to success. The key to success, if you would ask me, is to truly, truly, truly live a life on your own terms. And in the beginning of this video, I said that if you do this, you will have the chance of short-term success, but definitely long-term success. What you want is you want long-term success. And I think if you live a life based on your own terms, you will have long-term success. This is beautiful, by the way. And this whole idea of the jet lag, like switching time zones but staying in your own time zone, it's a really rare thing to do. Who goes to bed around 5 p.m. and wakes up at 1 a.m. It's not a normal thing to do. But I think if you want to live a life based on your own terms, there's a lot of things that are not normal that you should embrace. And that's not on me to decide for you, whatever those things are. That's on you to decide whatever those things are. Like, it's not, like, there's so many things that are not normal in the way that I live my life, but those are actually my keys to success. But those are my keys to success, and those are not your keys to success. So define for yourself, like, what are your keys to success? Like, what are the things that are working for you, and how can you double down on those things? How can you double down on whatever's working for you? So I have a lot of, I call them quality quirks, and you probably have a lot of them as well. And you might even feel shame around some of those quirks. You might feel that people look at you for certain behaviors that you have, or certain preferences, or certain ways of working, or ways of being, that people judge you about those things. But I would implore you to really actually own those and be aware that your quirks, the things that make you you, those are the things that make you successful. So again, like, what is success? I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about freedom. I'm not talking about time freedom. I'm not talking about whatever. I think success is you really living the life that you want to live based on your own terms. I think that's everything. But then it's really, really important to decide for yourself, what is that? And that's really hard for a lot of us to actually figure out, because we we live in constructs. So for example, if you, let's say, even the way we raise our children, like we decided to take our kids from school and we decided to start homeschooling. And that's a big move. That's a big life decision. And it's definitely a decision that requires a lot. It requires time, a lot of time. It requires money, and actually, if you want to do it well, you actually need a lot of money, in my opinion. This really is beautiful here. But it also requires to really being resourceful, and it also really requires you thinking for yourself. So I had a discussion with one of the teachers last week. So we do, a lot of the quote-unquote homeschooling we do is just living life. But literally this, we're walking here in San Francisco, and we're walking the Golden Gate Bridge, and tomorrow we go to a backyard show from La Russell. La Russell is an artist from Vallejo, and I love that guy. Like, he's really a really cool guy, very entrepreneurial, does everything independently, and that's a big example for my kids. Like, you do you. If you look at La Russell, he is who he is, and he's very unique, and he definitely is an anomaly. And so, for example, tomorrow we go to a backyard residency from La Russell, literally in the backyard of his mom's home. And maybe my kids, because we'll be there with the fam, but also with the extended family. We always travel with extended family. So literally, like this, Danny now is recording this, and Yusuf is here recording as well, and that's part of the extended family. And so maybe, or hopefully tomorrow, my kids will get 1 or 2 or 3 lessons from La Russell. Maybe by his teachings, but also maybe by his being. And so one of the things that we do a lot is that we surround ourselves with really unique human beings, and we invest a lot of money and a lot of time into us, including our children, being around amazing people. So that's a big part of our homeschooling system. And then there's a small part of our homeschooling system, and that's where that's cool. That's where we have to do the ABCs and the math and stuff like that. And last week, one of my kids had a call where one of my kids had to do some homework, and I was there when she turned down the laptop after the class, and well, in this case it was my daughter. She got really annoyed because the teacher during the class, she wasn't really with her, she wasn't really present, and she gave her a feeling of not being enough. She sort of guilted her that she didn't do her homework, and my daughter was like, I feel dumb after this class. So I was going to show me what you had to do, your homework. And it was math. And she's 13 years old. And it was ridiculous. Like, I'm a human calculator. I'm really, really good at math. I couldn't solve those calculations. It was like 684 times 489, for example. Like how can you possibly know? Like, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of deep digging, and it takes like 30 minutes to do that calculation, and just impossible, like really impossible. And I understand that if you have to dig deep and have to do the math and go, really figure it out and writing everything down and all that stuff, then eventually you learn. But for her, it had the opposite effect. It had the opposite effect, as in she had no clue how to do this, and they assumed that she would know this. And I looked at the math. I was like, I don't know. I have a hard time figuring out this problem. And then it was like, why? Like, why? If you ever get the question, how much is 684 times 957 or whatever? Are you going to sit down and going to write it down and do the math, or are you just going to get your calculator? So I asked my daughter. I asked her, like, how much is 14 times 12? She's like, 168. Okay. How much is 24 times 13? And she was like, 312. And she knows the answers. Like, she knows math. But what we don't want is we don't want her to have this idea that she's dumb at all, obviously. And in this case, her teacher gave her that idea. And that's when you see, like, the system, because the teacher is still sort of part of the system. She thinks in the system. Within the system, well, it's very important to know how much 684 times 957 is. But if you look outside of the system, it's literally, it has no importance at all. So yeah, of course, your children need to know the ABCs and basic math. But what I want my children to really learn is how to become emotionally intelligent, how to know who you are, how to figure out what your qualities are, what your talents are, how to double down on your talents, how to double down on the things that you actually really enjoy, and how to become an amazing human being. And I feel that if you know who you are, if you really know who you are, then you can become successful for life. And I heard this amazing saying a couple months ago. Somebody said, if you don't know who you are, you become what you do. So most people, and I hate saying most people, it sounds kind of judgmental, but most people, they become what they do. But that's not who you are. So again, I would implore you to really discover, like, who are you? And who would you be if you would think, or could think, from a clean slate? If you could think from, okay, what would I do, or what would I love to do, or who would I be if tomorrow morning I would wake up with nothing? And I'm not saying nothing as in like you lost it all, but you wake up with nothing. Your whole current system is non-existent anymore. You didn't lose it, it's just not there anymore, and you have no recollection of that current system. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning with no job or no business, with no relationship, with no friends, no family. You still have all your wisdom. You may not have all your knowledge, as in like recollection of things or memories or moments, but you still have your wisdom and your knowing. And who would you be? Would you literally drive to the place where you're living right now and start living there again? Would you listen to the same music that you're listening to now? Would you still follow the same diet that you're following now? Would you still find the same type of friends? Or would you see like, okay, what's possible? What's available for me? If I could reinvent myself, what would that look like? And what would I do? And so try to see if you can apply the whole idea of clean slate thinking. It's a super powerful concept. Get down a journal and write down, okay, I woke up today with nothing. Just white space. My whole life, my whole world is just white space. And from this white space, I can reinvent myself. I can become a whole new human being. I can be who I truly am. And from there, I'm going to live my life. What would it look like for you? A lot of people have no idea because they are so deep into their algorithms, they're so deep into their ways of being. They're addicted to whatever they created. But what I wish for people who are open-minded, going back to the beginning of this video, the comparison between, for example, the Netherlands and US. What I like about the US is there's way more free thinkers, big thinkers, and you know, US also sort of like came from nothing only a couple years ago, and now it is what it is. It's so big and it's so grand and it's so expansive, and so yeah, that's a big idea. If you want to become successful for the rest of your life, you do have to practice clean slate thinking, and go from there. And then it's really figuring out, like, what's your deepest desire? Like, what's your deepest desire? What would be unbelievable for you? So whenever I have a conversation with one of my private clients, you know, most coaches, most mentors, they go into problem solving. Tell me about your problem right now, and let's see how we can solve that. I'm literally not interested in your problems. Like, of course I might be a little bit interested in your problems, but I don't think the solution of solving your problems is about solving your problems. It oftentimes is about creating a new reality. And oftentimes, if you create a new reality for yourself, a lot of your current problems, they're non-existent. They don't exist anymore. So for example, and this may be a simple example, but imagine having problems with your landlord because he's overcharging. Or imagine having problems with your car broke down. Or imagine having problems with one of your employees. Or imagine having problems with your ex-wife who wants to get too much alimony. All of those problems, they can literally disappear like snow for the sun if you would 10x your income. Let's say you make $50,000 a year right now. Those problems I just explained, they're big problems. But if you make 2 million a year or 5 million a year, those problems, they don't exist anymore. So that's a new reality, and I use the money example because it's an easy example. People can grasp that. But it's about so much more. So for example, imagine, there's so many examples I can use when it comes to creating a new reality for yourself. So imagine right now you want to go online. You want to create content. You want to teach your lessons. You want to bring your energy into the world. But you're afraid. You're afraid because your neighbors, they might laugh at you at the barbecue. Or your mom, she just, was sort of like sneak dissing you when you did your last video. Or your children, they're actually embarrassed because mom or dad is doing like this influencer thing. And this is keeping you stuck. So you're afraid of what the people around you will say. So that's the current reality. And oftentimes, whenever that's the current reality, we want to fix that problem. So we can think of, oh, maybe I should block them. Or maybe I should have a conversation with them. Or maybe whatever it is. But if this is the problem is not them, it's however you're feeling about yourself. There's some uncertainties and there's some triggers and all that stuff. But what if you would expand your thinking and expand your being and know truly who you are? Deep down inside, know that you're a badass. Know that you're made for great things. Know that you have this big purpose. And what if you can truly tap into that part of yourself? How important then is the feedback you get from your neighbor? Or maybe that your daughter might be embarrassed or whatever. It's not important. You just created a new reality for yourself, and this new reality is knowing who you truly are and knowing what you're capable of and knowing your purpose. So again, that's a new reality. So yeah, we can talk about your neighbor, we can talk about your mom or your children or whatever, we can talk about your triggers, We can talk about everything that's uncomfortable for you. We can talk about those problems and try to solve those problems, but what you want to do is you want to actually dissolve them, just not just by focusing on those problems, but really just creating a new reality for yourself. I know for a fact that all of a sudden your whole life can be completely different if you make that switch in your mind and knowing who you really truly are. So that's also an example of creating a new reality for yourself. And so know who you truly are, create a new reality for yourself. Don't be embarrassed about your quirks. Just really understanding how you work and how you're wired. That's the definition for me of real success. It's not about money, it's not about impact, it's not about income, it's not about all of those things. It's about you, and everybody is different. We're 8 billion people in this world and we're all different. And I think the most important thing is figuring out who you truly are. And again, we don't know who we are because we become what we do. So you want to dissolve that as well. Look at all the constructs. You might be married, and yeah, you might be committed in a relationship that you started 20 years ago, but what kind of ended like 10 years ago. But because you signed a contract 20 years ago, you're still in it. But you might be out of it already, but not technically or practically. Maybe in business. Maybe you started a business 8 years ago and you did a big investment and you have a team and it's brick and mortar and you're stuck, but you committed to it. So now you have to stay in it. Well, is that the truth? Is it really the truth? Or is this the decision that your previous version of yourself made, but now you're sticking to it? Dude, or do that. Like, you only live once and your life is not that long. If you're committed to something that a previous version of yourself decided to do, man, life goes by fast. And we don't want that. We don't want life to go by fast. I mean, it goes fast, but we don't want to live the same life over and over again, especially if it's not the life that we actually want to live. A couple of years ago, I made a really hard decision in my personal life, which was the best decision that I've ever made in my personal life. I might share that with you in another video as well. Just don't forget to subscribe, because there's a lot of cool stuff coming. But I made a really hard decision. Again, best decision and hardest decision of my life. And I always say that if you are willing to make the hard decision, life can actually become easy. But if you're not willing to make the difficult decision, life will stay hard. And not in a good way. But anyway, I made that big decision, and it was rough for the first couple of months. And then life became more of who I truly am. And life just became better. And magic happened. And almost literal magic happened. And I had a conversation with a friend, and she said, the universe rewards you for making bold moves or bold decisions. No, I should correct myself. The universe rewards you for making brave decisions. And I think that's also a big key to success. Being willing, being able, and being brave enough to make bold decisions, or maybe I should say being bold enough to make brave decisions. Like, it's, again, if you are not willing to make the difficult decisions, life will stay hard. But if you're open, oh, what a piece over here. If you're open to make the difficult decisions, but the true, like living your truth, and then let the chips fall where they may, that's where the real magic happens. So we're walking here in San Francisco. We just arrived last night, almost at the end of this conversation, because we're almost at the end of the Golden Gate Bridge. I'm gonna have a really nice massage in like 90 minutes, which is something I'm looking forward to. I'm curious how this video will end up because we're walking next to the road. I think we're gonna upload it anyway, just because we can. It's something I've been thinking about a lot, especially the last couple of days. Now I'm actually creating more content and putting myself more out there in the world. It's like, what do I want to share with the world? And for me, what I'm going to share right now is a big one. It's actually something I realized this morning. There's so many topics that I can teach. I can talk about business, I can talk about money, I can talk about productivity, I can talk about creativity, I can talk about purpose, I can talk about, I don't know, whatever. There's so many topics that I can teach. In the Netherlands, I created over 50 courses, all different topics in the last 20 years. I've done a lot of events and a lot of stuff. So I was thinking, like, what should I teach? What should I share? And then I had this profound insight this morning, which I'm so happy about. And it sort of comes back to what we're going to do tomorrow with Lil Russell. Lil Russell is an artist that is very unique. He created over 40 albums. The dude is 30 years old. And he is who he is. He does it his way. And, it's his energy that people are attracted to. It's his mindset, his way of being that people are attracted to. And this morning I was like, what am I going to talk about today? Because I do want to create, I want to create. Like, I'm really excited and inspired about the next chapter of my life as an entrepreneur, but also as a creative. I was thinking, what am I going to talk about? And then I had this really, profound insight. Like, no, man, it's not about the topic. It's about who do I want to be, and also what do I want to share with the world. And for me, the answer is, and it sounds maybe a little bit, whatever, I'm not going to put a disclaimer to this. What I want to do is I want to share me with the world, my energy. I know it's unique. 8 billion people, we're all unique. I'm going to share me, my being, my energy, my ideas with the world. So if you stuck with me this far in this video and it resonates with you, whatever it is, I would really be honored if you would subscribe to this channel. I just started out, been thinking about this for a long time. There's so much I want to share. I'm so inspired. So many unique ideas that I want to share with you. It would mean the world to me if you want to subscribe to this channel. And also, what would also mean the world to me if you want to send me a message on Instagram. So it's funny, and this is the last thing that I'll share today, but yesterday we were in the plane, and we decided to record a video in the plane. And it's funny, in the video, I talk about why I think it's lame that if you're in first class or business class, that you want to share that with the world. And in the video, I shared I think it's lame to show the world that you're flying business class. The reason for me that I'm flying business class is that I'm able to create. And because I'm able to create, because with business class I'm able to create, that's why I'm flying good business class. Anyway, that's not the thing that I want to teach here, but the funny thing is that during that teaching, we literally, in the plane, we uploaded it to Instagram, and I've been posting more on Instagram, but this was my first viral. This is the first time I go viral on Instagram while we're on the plane, while I'm talking about that you can create on the plane, and that can actually create success. So that was sort of like a meta thing. But I also noticed, and I'm kind of annoyed by it, is that we're in Instagram jail. As in, 95% of the people that see my videos on Instagram, even though it goes viral, this 95% is Dutch. And again, I love the Netherlands and I love my audience in the Netherlands, but I really, really, really want to go worldwide. And I'm in the Instagram Dutch jail. And what would be very helpful for me, if you want to, send me a DM on Instagram and maybe like one or two of my posts and maybe put a comment, so the algorithm of Instagram will actually show that people from outside of the Netherlands are actually watching and enjoying my content. So I will get out of the Instagram jail. That would be really helpful for me as well. So yeah, hope you're amazing. We're almost at the end of this bridge. Let's Danny, let's show some of the views. It's really beautiful, and then we'll end this up. I'm here with my son Otis. How are you enjoying this?
Of course.
Yeah? What do you think of San Francisco?
We just saw a shark.
You saw a shark?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
There were a few people out there.
No shit.
They saw a shark.
Wow. Do you have it on video?
No.
You didn't have the shark on video?
Because it was locked on your face.
Damn. Do you have the shark on video? Did you see the shark? Oh, okay. So this is Yusuf. Yusuf is one of the best human beings in the world.
Thank you.
And he's traveling with us full time. And this is Danny. So this is Danny. He's my trainer, trying to make me fit, help. So that's the end of this video. That's the end of the video. Subscribe. I would really appreciate that. And see you at another video. Take care. Bye.